first came here, I came with a clean slate. I didn't really know anything about sustainability or anything about the economy. It's kind of like unsure of what to expect. But when the facilitator started going over about the issues that are happening within society, the two that struck me the most were overconsumption and waste. And that reminded me about when I was standing in line with time for lunch and I was trying to decide what I wanted to drink. And I was looking at the refrigerator and there were just so many water bottles in there. There was Dasani, there was Cold Springs, there was Smart Water. It seemed unnecessary. It's kind of weird looking back on it and realizing how many there were. And on top of that, we have vending machines within the school. Vending machines filled with these water bottles. And it shocked me when I looked back on it. So I decided that for my project, I wanted to reduce the waste and overconsumption within my school. Someone's supposed to see that. Okay. I wanted to reduce the waste and overconsumption because in 2008, the USA produced enough water bottles to wrap the Earth 190 times. That's the Great Wall of China going around the Earth 4.5 times. That's literally incredible. And the amount of barrels of oil used to make these plastic water bottles was 17 billion barrels. And on top of that, 58 billion plastic water bottles were produced. And out of that 58 billion water bottles, 1 out of 5 are recycled. So when I was researching everything, I was like, where did the other 4 go? People must throw them out, and they must end up somewhere. And they do. They end up here. The plastic trash vortex. There are these floating masses of trash floating within the Pacific Ocean. They're considered the junkyard of the oceans, really. And it's over 100 miles long. And this is just a picture of just one. This is just one plastic trash vortex. There are multiple within the Pacific Ocean. This is a map of how they form. When you throw away the trash and you don't recycle what's going on with your water bottle, it ends up in the sewer, it ends up in rivers, streams, anything that flows within to the ocean. And because of the currents act as a lasso, when the debris is collected, they form these giant masses, which are called the junkyards. And because there are different types of currents within the Pacific Ocean, there are just multiple junkyards just floating in it. So how am I going to express this problem to different people? Well, when I first came here, I know for sure one thing that I'm going to leave with is that education is key. My parents taught me this when I was earlier, when I was growing up. Well, I still am. But it's something that's been more elaborated on since I've come to SILS. And education is basically the first step to change. It's the first step to anything really. So I decided that I'm going to try and educate people. They need to know about the plastic trash vortex. They need to know where their plastic water bottles go. Because if you don't know, you don't care. And that's one of the biggest issues within society today. So one of my goals is to solve this problem, is to shape the habits and thoughts around plastic water bottles within my school. By installing one of these. The hydration station, a hands-free, purified water dispenser that fills reusable water bottles. This will not only fill reusable water bottles, but it'll promote them. Personally, I think it kind of looks cool, so it would be awesome to have within the school. It's very high-tech. So how am I going to reach my goal of installing one of these hydration stations? Well, I used a power map. The first thing around the power map was to target students. Now, I'm happy to say that I've already contacted the school officers, the class president, vice president, the secretary, and the treasurer, and they're happy to join the cause. So I've already started my process into gaining the student body and educating them on where the plastic water bottles go. I also plan on contacting the president of the Green Club, the president of the Senate, and once I have that large mass of student body, I'm going to be able to educate the rest of the student body. We're going to initiate phase 1, which is to educate all the other students, have flyers, table during lunches, even have a Green Spirit Day during Spirit Week in September. And then once we have everybody educated, we're going to move into phase 2. Phase 2 includes educating the administration. Now to do that, I plan on showing everybody how dedicated the student body is. So everybody's going to sign a petition saying they'll use a reusable water bottle instead of a plastic water bottle to show their dedication to the cause. Plus, Brita, a filter watering company, they have this program, a fundraising program, where you sell 500 water bottles with your school logo on it, and you get a free hydration station. It's kind of a hit two birds with one stone kind of thing, where not only will I create a sense of community and school spirit within my school, but it just shows short-term results. And that's what people need to see. That's what they expect. And plus, we get a free hydration station. So you don't really have to worry about money within this project. And then we go into phase 3. Once the administration signs a petition and gets educated about what's going on, we're going to go to the center of the power mat, which is the principal named David Ryan. And I'll set up a meeting with him, with the leaders of, kind of like my right-wing men, and we'll go and educate him with statistics and proof of what's going on with water bottles within our school and in the environment, really. And with all these statistics and proof around him, it's kind of hard to say no to a hydration station that only is the only thing it's beneficial to the school, really. And that made me think, well, when we do get the hydration station, how am I going to show people about long-term effects? Well, I decided during phase 1, I would dedicate a group of recruits to take an average of how much money the school spends on water bottles over a 3-month period. And if they feel it's necessary, maybe even a longer month period. But after that, after the hydration station is installed, we'll take another average of how much money the school spends. And we can see the decrease of how much money the school saves. And that way, yeah, like that sound wrong. We'll see the decrease of how much money the school spends. And it'll just be a good long-term thing to show the school of their progress. And if I want to go extra long-term, we can see the other schools get inspired and adopt their own hydration station program, and see the whole Nashville Public School District replace water bottles with hydration stations. Any questions?
So you talked a little bit at the end about getting other schools involved. How would you go about doing that?
Well, once we install the hydration station at Nashville North, our sister school is Nashville South, and what we can do is show an example and set an example for them to see, this is what you can do for your school, because we're kind of friendly and we're actually about like half a block away from each other. So once we get them, we can educate their school with even more people, because now that we've recruited the whole student body at Nashville North, and influence them to get their own hydration station. And then it's kind of like a trickle effect. Tyler?
Are you planning on just putting in one hydration station, or?
One is my main goal right now, but if it's successful, maybe even more, because I want to focus on something small and specific so I can dedicate all my attention to it rather than just going above and beyond as of right now. Once we get one installed, I'm sure it'll be such a success that they'll want another one across the school. Katie?
So you talked a little bit about trying to get plastic water bottles off your school campus, and we talked a little bit about with UMass about how we have this whole contract with Coca-Cola, right?
Yes.
I'm interested to know, when it comes down to it, you think you're going to be more focused on just making plastic water bottle purchasing obsolete through the use of reusable water bottles, or do you foresee the students working on any sort of like pressure campaign to try to get the school to change its purchasing?
Well, I thought about eliminating plastic water bottles altogether, but when I was brought up about contracts and everything, I thought maybe when we can use the hydration station as a delay mechanism to sort of wait till the contract runs out, and then when the contract runs out, we can get rid of the water bottles and the vending machines and replace those with maybe even drinking fountains or another hydration station or something even more productive for the school. Yes.
Have you heard of the Ban the Bottle campaign?
Yes, that's what I call this campaign, the Ban the Bottle campaign, the Titan Remix, because Titans are our mascot.
So are you going to reach out to that organization or others for kind of support and advice? Or?
Yeah, that would definitely be a good thing to do. I plan on reaching out to them when I carry it out more specifically, and I'll say, our school's doing this, do you have any advice, or is there any programs that we can contact to help it even more successful than it will already be? Any other? Yes?
Yeah, you had said that Brita would provide your school with a hydration station if you sold a certain amount of the water bottles.
Mhm.
Is that how you decided to go with hydration stations, or did you find that was the best type of water dispensing product beforehand?
The hydration station from Brita seemed like the best option because it's hands-free. That's how I thought of it. Because I know some of my friends are a bit like touchy when it comes to bubblers. They don't even drink bubblers. They buy plastic water bottles because they think they're filtered and they're clean, but they're actually not. There's a lot of chemicals within them. Dasani actually puts sodium in their water bottles to make them even more thirsty and buy you more plastic water bottles. So considering a hands-free device that's like automatic and fills your reusable water bottle seemed like a better idea, so that way no germs are spread. Yes?
I think some of the hydration stations actually will tell you how many plastic water bottles you're saving every time you refill.
Yeah.
So they keep a running count of how many plastic water bottles have been kept out of the circulation because of using the hydration station. So that would be a good number to be able to use.
That'd be even better to show my principal, you know. Any other questions?